Ramzan begins in less than 20 days. It is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. Muslims around the world mark the holy month with fasting, prayers and reflection. The fast is broken with iftar. It is an elaborate meal. There are dry fruits and dates, kebabs. Dishes vary from regions and countries. What will Gazans have for iftar this Ramzan? They don't have access to the bare necessities. There is no bread, no milk, or diapers for babies for that matter. How will the people of Gaza have a dignified Ramzan? Israel has a plan. It involves conditions that could make matters worse, in fact. How, you ask? By limiting access to Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa compound. And we will get to that in just a bit. Let's just start with something that will happen in just 7 days from now. A big meeting in Moscow. Russia has invited all Palestinian groups to meet in Moscow on the 26th of February. The news of this meeting was confirmed by Mohammad Shtayyeh. He is the Palestinian Authority Prime Minister. And who all are attending the meeting? Russian officials say invites have gone out to all Palestinian representatives, including groups in other countries, including Syria and Lebanon. This, of course, also includes the groups of Gaza, Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. But Hamas and the Palestinian Authority don't get along. Will they share a table? Here's what Shtayyeh has said. Russia has invited all Palestinian factions to meet in Moscow on the 26th of February. So we will see if Hamas is ready to reach an understanding with us. And then we will be willing to cooperate. Should Hamas not be ready, it will be a different story. What is on the agenda, really? Could it be the day after the war? Could it be the state of Palestine? We don't know. Netanyahu insists Israeli security forces will be a part of the arrangement that is in charge of Gaza a day after the war. The West wants Palestinian Authority to take charge. But here you have the Russian President Vladimir Putin snubbing the West and Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu by inviting Palestinian groups for a meeting in Moscow. Could Putin get the Palestinian Authority and Hamas to end their dispute is the question. And this is a meeting the West and Netanyahu would be watching closely, of course. The US has sent the who's who to Israel since the start of the war. The Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made as many as 5 trips to West Asia in the last 4 months. US President Joe Biden landed in Israel within days of the war, remember. The CIA chief, the FBI chief, the Biden administration has tapped every top official to try and restore the fragile peace in Israel and Palestine. 4 months on, the White House has not succeeded. If Putin manages to come up with a solution, if he manages to get Hamas and the Palestinian Authority to talk, agree on power sharing, or even come up with a joint agreement, headlines will be quick to peg the development against the shortcomings of American diplomacy. Let's be clear about that. And fingers are already pointing at Biden for not doing enough to stop the war. Over 28,500 people have been killed in Gaza, mostly women and children. And now Israel has put Rafah on a deadline. Israel wants all remaining hostages to be freed by Ramzan. And if they are not, they would be launching an offensive against Gaza. Ramzan begins on the 10th of March. Hostages, freed or not, Netanyahu plans to limit access to Al-Aqsa on Ramzan. The mosque is on Jerusalem's Temple Mount, which is the holiest place in Judaism. The Al-Aqsa is the 3rd holiest site in Islam. The area has been a flashpoint between Israeli forces and the Palestinians. Ramzan especially has been dangerous. In the past, there have been clashes between worshippers and the Israeli police during the holy month. There was a cabinet meeting in Israel this Sunday. During this meeting, Netanyahu reportedly instructed the security officials to present ministers with options to restrict access to the mosque. Options like the age criteria, also quotas for Israeli citizens who wish to pray at the Al-Aqza Mosque compound during Ramzan. The idea of restricting access was proposed by Israel's far-right National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir. He reportedly wants Israel to only allow worshippers over the age of 70 into the Temple Mount during Ramzan. And as per Israel's Channel 12, the government is likely to expand that age group. Men over 60 and children up to the age of 10 could be allowed to enter the temple complex. In fact, Ben-Gvir also wants security forces to enter the Al-Aqsa complex if worshippers raise Palestinian flags. Now, that demand has been shot down, but it has not been enough to raise concern around the worsening of the situation during Ramzan. Earlier today, Israel's War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz posted this on the platform X. I'm quoting, "The decision in principle of the State of Israel throughout the years, and this year as well, is to enable the freedom of worship during Ramzan and the Muslim prayer on the temple Mount. Considering the sensitivity around the security situation, restrictions will be put in place for security purposes alone. These restrictions have yet to be decided this evening." What about allowing aid into Gaza? That also came up during Sunday's meeting, but we don't know what the consensus was. What we do know is this is the first time Israel has given a deadline for a planned assault in Gaza. The deadline is Ramzan, and with every passing day, Israel is losing more and more friends because of the situation in Gaza. In fact, Brazil's president, Lula da Silva, who was among the first world leaders to condemn the October 7 Hamas attack, is not calling out Israel for its treatment of Gazans. Western countries like Germany also are expressing concern about Israel's planned Rafah offensive. In the UK, Labour leader Keir Starmer is calling for an immediate ceasefire, a ceasefire that lasts, a ceasefire that safeguards the lives of people on both the sides, is indeed the need of the hour. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.